The Monday, August 21st, 2023 school board meeting. Please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do not have any amendments to the agenda tonight.
Yes, we did. We have.
Did you have one?
We do have amendments.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Okay. Yep.
All right, let me see yours. Okay, we do have an amendment. It's a MOU with the Child Development, North Florida Child Development. We'll put that under items for individual consideration, 5.9.
Is that what they're known?
You got John Palmer, physical therapy services.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. We also have another amendment to the agenda, contract with John Palmer for physical therapy services. We'll put that under items for consideration, 5.10.
And you have another one.
And number 3.
And we also have one more, high-performing charter contract with James Madison Preparatory High School. We'll put that under items for individual consideration, 5.11.
And what was the 5.10?
5.10 is contract with John
John
Palmer
Palmer.
for physical
Okay.
therapy services.
Gotcha.
Any questions? All right.
Thank
At
you.
this point, we'll adopt the agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda with the additional changes.
We have a motion by Ms. Hagan, second.
No second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. Public comment? No public comment tonight. Presentation by principals. Ms. Joseph?
Okay, last meeting we had presentation about 3 of the principals, and we've got the other 3 principals tonight. And we're gonna start with Mr. Patrick White with the bridge program, and you should have seen a handout at your place of, at your seating place, what he's gonna go over.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My staff let me know that I didn't do a very good job of introducing them at the countywide meeting. So my staff consists of Mr. Chris Neal, Ms. Tammy Latner, and Ms. Barbara Plummer. And like the saying goes, dynamite comes in small packages. Though we are small, we are very mighty in what we get done. Now, as an educator, and all educators, we absolutely love a good acronym. So this year at Bridge, we've adopted the word RISE to get us through and to find our goals for this year. The R stands for restore. We will restore in our students a belief in themselves, their beliefs and their ability to accomplish both the easy and the hard. The I stands for inspire. We will inspire our students to set high expectations and goals. We'll inspire them to go outside of their comfort zone and try the unimaginable. The S is for support. We will support our students by providing them the resources that will hopefully transpire into success in their academics, their emotional health, and their behaviors. And the E is for encourage. We will encourage our students to change attitudes and outlooks, to provide support, motivations, positive reinforcement to our students in order to boost their confidence, their efforts, and their actions toward a certain goal or their desired outcomes. And that's what we're going to do tonight, and that's what is laid before us. To give you a little backdrop, 2022-23, this was our transformation year. Our focus on the alternative program was to create a learning environment that was productive and safe, as well as create processes that would change the public perceptions of what the alternative school concept. We centered our goals around academic gains and helping students gain academic credits to boost high school GPAs while exploring career opportunities. Throughout the year, we tweaked the processes. We introduced new plans, procedures, programs in order to help our students become successful. Some programs and some processes worked, others didn't. But we continue to work and we continue to initiate those that did. One of our most successful programs last year was working closely with Madison County High School and James Madison High School to use peer tutors for students who struggle with ELA and math concepts. Through experimentation and deductive reasoning, it was discovered that our students were not gaining much knowledge from ELA by using the tutors, so we fine-tuned the tutor program to solely concentrate on mathematics. And by doing so, our students typically scored anywhere from 7 to 15 points higher overall in their math classes that had the personal tutors, which is going to bring us to our goals this year, and this is the handout you have before you. We based our goals on the school improvement plans of both Madison County High School and Madison County Central School, and we're going to start with attendance. That's a big issue for us. Last year, we had an 88% attendance rate at the Bridge program. Our goal this year is to increase that to 95%, which is a 7% increase. The ways that we're going to do that and the ways that we have started to do that transformation is that we have identified previous year students who had issues, those who were previously assigned to us, those who came from the other schools. We monitor daily on our attendance, and we address problematic students during the intake processes so that we get buy-in from both the parents and all stakeholders. And that was a big thing for us. The second goal we have this year is to address the mathematical deficiencies that our students suffer from. And we're going to continue to work with both Madison County High School and James Madison with our tutors because that program was so successful last year for our students. One thing, when we look at this, the students that we gained this year at the program, they didn't come to us with academic problems. The ones that we gained this year, we gained because of behavioral problems. So most of the students that we're going to be concentrating on this year with mathematics will be our middle grade students. We have to keep in mind that everything that we do at the Bridge program affects everything that happens at the Central School and at the high school. So our goals have to be related to what they're trying to accomplish as well. And the last thing that we're actually doing, one of the goals that we're increasing, is that we're offering true CTE courses at the Bridge program this year. The first one is digital information technology. This allows high school students to earn an industry certification in the Microsoft suite. That not only helps our students in the long run in the workforce as well as if they choose to go to college, but it also helps with the school grades. We're bringing diversified career technologies yet again to the Bridge program. This is so that our students can explore career opportunities and what's allowed or what's available to them. A lot of our students don't really have a true understanding of what's next. We have those students that we know that all schools are geared toward college, but what about the other 70 to 80% of our students? That's the ones that we're targeting with our diversified career technology class. and we're introducing a leadership skills development course. This is going to allow our students to develop those life skills and appropriate coping mechanisms. We're focusing on social skills, appropriate communication skills, as well as interpersonal communication skills, how we address the public, how we, just basically how do we deal with society. Now, I have to say all that to say that because we're increasing our taught classes, our online courses will decrease this year. Because in our high school classes, they're literally only online for about 2.5 hours a day. The other 5 hours, they're in classrooms with me or Mr. Neal. Our overall student population has changed. Last year, again, mostly were comprised of academic situations and academic deficiencies. We only have a handful of those this year. So we're really fully concentrating on the behavior aspects of our students this year. Any questions? Short and sweet
No.
and to the point.
I'll just make a comment if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad that you're incorporating this students from the high school in James Madison to tutor the students. I think that they could probably relate to them and,
They can. At first, last year when we first started the program, we weren't sure how, and we did have a little bit of reluctancy from our students because students who identify themselves as being academically inadequate in some areas, it's almost like a peer thing. They don't want their peers to understand they have these problems. But once we got past that barrier, we've had astronomical gains, just amazing gains.
that's wonderful. Good.
Thank you.
And the fact that you are bringing in the CTE classes, that's super.
Absolutely. That was a needed thing because our classes solely based themselves on academics, so we had to supply, especially for our high school kids, when they go back to the high school, they needed some elective courses with them. It boosts the GPA as well, which is much needed. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
y'all.
Mr. White.
Okay, next person we have is Mr. Brooks and Miss Hurst from Madison County High School.
I don't know if we were able to make copies for you or not. We did get you a presentation that you can see on the video behind you. We wanted to make it
Moving
short,
on.
but sweet, but it's got restrictions. We could, Patsy talked to you about acronyms. Ours is the same. Anybody who's been in education knows that each teacher, administrator, coach, they tend to build their own tree. That tree can span from Madison to Miami, Tallahassee to Texas. And it's not truly about that particular educator, it's about the people they serve. You're serving people that haven't been born yet, especially if you're in high school. They transcend their kids and their grandkids. So that's our saying, it's not about me. The work we do is not about me, it's not about today, it's about tomorrow. And the results come. Teaching is simple, high performance is simple. It's about understanding your standards, understanding your content, and then looking at the data, aggregating your data, and make sure that you're starting to move toward those things that are necessary. So our mission at Madison County High School is to provide high-quality education with a school culture that prepares students for success post-high school. Like I said, remember, it's not about today, it's about tomorrow. The vision is pretty much the same. Where we see our kids, the vision of Madison County High School is to provide all students. And Ms. Hurst, my assistant principal, really likes this. That's why I wanted to highlight it, with opportunities to engage in a rigorous standard-based instruction program in order to prepare them for a successful transition to college or career in a diverse global society. They're going to be forced, and as I said, forced to work with people who don't look like you, sometimes don't think like you, sometimes don't act like you, but it has to be successful. So those are our mission and vision. Our mission and vision are aligned, you'll see throughout this presentation, aligned with what we look at in instruction and our goals to better our teaching and our student experience.
So our school improvement plan, our focus areas this year are attendance, student engagement, and discipline. And goal number 1 is to increase teacher and student attendance by 50% by the end of the year. So last year, our attendance was 87%. And our goal this year is for it to be 95 or higher. Goal number 2 is to increase the number of teachers utilizing AVID strategies and collaborative structures to engage students in instruction. Goal 3 is to decrease discipline referrals and the days in ISS and OSS by 50% this school year. We want students in classrooms, not in ISS or OSS.
Okay, go 1, attendance. These are some of the things we hope to implement as to improve our attendance. Teachers with perfect attendance for each month. You know, all of them get a snack carpet. You know, it's to just improve the environment that they're in. All teachers with a perfect attendance each month, the name will go in on a chance to win, a lunch on us. Myself or Ms. Hurst will tell that teacher's class if they're chosen out of that basket that has perfect attendance, and they'll get a gift certificate to go out at a local establishment and have lunch while we teach their class. All right? Quarterly faculty lunch. Lunch is sponsored by the administrative team or sponsored outside school. PBI's cookouts will go right in line every 9 weeks for the students.
So goal 2 is for our collaborative and AVID structures in the classroom to increase student engagement. So school-wide this year, we implemented AVID binders. Every student, every class has a binder. They have dividers for each subject. Teachers, all of their handouts, notes, everything is 3-hole punch so the kids can stay organized and have all their stuff together. Collaborative structures. So we made them a flip book with different collaborative structures that they can utilize in instruction. We have Hannah Diaz from NEFAC that's coming on Wednesdays, and she posts in our data room, and teachers throughout the day during their planning can go and visit her, and she, has a wealth of knowledge in collaborative structures. Our walkthroughs, we explicitly are looking for the AVID and collaborative structures as we go through our walkthroughs. And we've just seen that taking their cell phones away from them has forced them to be more engaged in their learning.
Okay, some of the things we're looking for as we walk through, and many of you have been administrators before. I think if you ask for those things, you'll get them, and if they're proven effective, you'll get even more. Lesson frame. Lesson frame is a visual frame. It's either posted somewhere in the classroom telling the students what the activity of the day is in concert with the standard and what activity and what closing activity you're going to use to make sure your students have mastered or somewhat understanding the standard. Visible standards posted. The actual standard number, if possible, and the standard language. I think those are the gaps that we have with standardized testing. Our activities and our instruction is not molded with standardized language. It's not teaching to the test, but it's a map. It's just like if you were to read a book and it has exact language on how to truly put together a project. That's what we want to do. Try and get our students to understand the standard language. The student engagement, we go back to that. Making sure as we walk through, our students are engaged, having that conversation. It's nothing more fulfilling as to see when you walk through a class, a student arguing over a major concept, who's right or wrong. So that means that they truly are getting into the concept and they get an understanding of the concept. And I would be remiss to say, you guys are familiar with AVID, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's familiar? Okay. And AVID strategies. Those strategies are based on student engagement, and they give you, so to speak, the best bang for your buck. I haven't seen many strategies in a whole that does this. What's the other one at the elementary level? What are they called? Kagan strategies. There's them. And the collaborative structures. Like I said, students bouncing things off of themselves. Even as you walk through students going back to the lesson before, or even going into a math class and you hearing a concept that was in U.S. history, and they're extending that lesson, even though it's math class, but they're extending that lesson in math.
Goal 3, decrease discipline. This year, our teachers are implementing the RTI process for behavior, in that, kind of our motto is the referral's not the first step. They're practicing taking, parent phone calls, redirecting, giving the kid a minute, having a private conversation, other things before they go straight to a referral. We have a discipline team that encompasses a teacher from each department, a member from the admin team, that our MTSS coordinator, that all get together and go over the data and to see the needs at our school. No cell phones in and of itself, we feel like are going to decrease discipline referrals. So many of the huge things that happened at our school last year were tied directly to cell phones. Our PBS cookouts are for students with low referrals. They love that because they get free time and a free hot dog and hamburger. And then our Saturday school. So we, again, want kids in classrooms not missing instruction. So our Saturday school allows us to keep them in the classroom, but yet still deliver a consequence for a decision that they made. And so instead of ISS or OSS where they're missing instructional time, Saturday school allows us to, they don't really like to come to school on Saturday, but they don't miss class either. And then last week, we thought we'd just share with you guys 16 referrals last week. 11 were unauthorized cell phone use. 2 were insubordination, where those children not only had their cell phone, they refused to surrender it to the adult. So, we're working on those cell phones, and we think it's going to have a great impact on our school.
And I know you look at it and you say, that's a lot, but this is new to them. That cell phone's almost a part of their anatomy, so it takes a little time. But we look at it positively, and we see, 16, 11 of them positively surrendered it. I know I violated. And that's one of the concepts as an administrative team. We told them in our assemblies, if you do this, then this may be the consequence, whether it's good or bad. Every action has a consequence. We just have to learn how to accept it. So this final one with the DFI administrative team, we have 119 seniors in our cohort. And I know it's a little bit alarming, so I'm going to catch it before you say, wow. This is a several-year span of students not taking a I guess you call it intrinsic look at their pathway. And that, stopped as soon as I got here last year. We have 52 seniors that are in danger of not graduating, and that can come from not getting a test score, or a GPA that's low, or missing a class. It could be one class, we still count. Because you have to take all of the data, all of our data into consideration when you're looking at not just pieces. So that's the whole 52. These seniors in this next 9 weeks or semester may get what they need to help them off with it. But while they're doing this, each staff member will adopt a senior. And that's having those conversations, those check-ins bi-weekly. What do you need? What kind of plan do you have? How are you going to get there? What are our next steps? How can I help you?
So student success obviously is our number one goal. And so in order to help our students be more successful, one of the things we're doing this year is progress learning assessments for mastery. And right now we're pre-testing all classes, all courses are taking their pre-test. Progress Learning has them for our core, and then our CTE and electives are creating their tests. Students, they cannot receive an F unless their parent has been contacted. We're requiring teachers to make parent contact if the child has an F in their classroom. And we're hoping that Bloom's is going to help expedite that process. Data days. We are having quarterly data days by department, where departments are going to meet together. They are going to look at their data, disaggregate, and figure out where their students excelled and where they have needs, and plan accordingly in order to spiral review those standards that weren't mastered that first quarter.
Hey, staff. Like I said before in my opening comments, the staff is important. In order to have the high-performing school, staff members have to be on board of what the administrator's vision. And our vision is to well educate our kids based on the standards. So presently right now, just so you understand, we are missing an Algebra 1 teacher, but we have come to we have tried to be creative with how we're going to get the teaching until we find it. So we have an aide and present in that classroom with the help of the sub. The aide is a longtime staff member that's well adapted to the Algebra 1 standards. But you also have another person in there to help control behaviors, because there are freshmen Algebra 1 kids who are low. Because most of our Algebra 1 kids have already passed that test and have moved on to something else. So our idea is when we find an Algebra 1 teacher, that we move to do those things that are possible for staff retention. That those two positions, the Algebra, and we just finished the English, are the only two positions we have. It is our understanding as we move forward that we don't fill positions, that our staff stays intact, and most staff members that are there for 5 to 10 years is the staff that usually high, performs well. The knowledge base is high, the relationships are high. So relationships and knowledge bases are key to being a high performing school, and that's what we intend to do: boost morale, but have the expectations that the most important thing on our campus are our kids and what they've learned and what their experiences are positive at Madison County High School. So just give you some dates to remember. Our SAC committee meeting, our next one is the 13th, I think is the 4th, very sorry about that. And then the Cowboy Showcase, which is our, it's basically our Title I night, October 5th at 5:30, and homecoming is the 20th. And the one that I have marked everywhere, pretty much all over our campus, is graduation day, May 24th, 2024, at 7 p.m. All 119 are there. Any questions?
I've got a comment about the 52 seniors. Now, they're just beginning their senior year. Do they know that they are in jeopardy right now? I mean, were they told last year, or because this?
They've been told last year and going into this year in the summertime.
And
Yeah.
okay, so they've been told, and then the parents. Now, they have the ability to see what's going on in the class, not the grades, right? So, okay, and I like the idea of contacting the parents, but I mean, you're not asking permission to give them an F, right? You're just saying that
No,
this is,
we're just saying he has an A.
This
This
is-
is what he's earned.
this is
And
what
we
he's-
don't want it to be a surprise to you that he's getting.
Right.
And because the biggest complaint that I've had over the last year is I didn't know. Well, we want to make sure
Yeah.
you know, and we're going to go to whatever extent necessary, phone call, leave a message. If we haven't made contact, then come back to us or guidance and say, this is the wrong number. So we
Right.
can have to change it up, get somebody to go by a home. I even go by houses myself and say, this is what's happening in class. Can you please contact us so we can sit down and have a meeting? So do the best you can to get that parent in the know about what their grades are, because that's what I got. The major complaint is no one called.
okay, well, now these 52 seniors, have those parents been contacted?
Yes.
Okay, so you,
I'm not going to say all of them have.
but you try,
Yes,
you-
we've tried.
I know it's not always easy.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
We've had sit meetings with a majority.
Okay.
Our senior sponsor, or Jada Williams, who's MTSS also, she has sit meetings with each one of them and outlines how and where they are and how they can get to graduation. And like I said, 52 of them, and maybe 25 that need multiple things, and the rest, 27, maybe just one class or to get a GPA. And I can tell you, through conversations with our staff members, that no student should not graduate just based on a GPA. We can do as much as we can to get them there, but it also takes a lot for the student. Several of those students that are in that 52 just did not come to Saturday. Summer school. Just chose not to come.
They didn't come.
Yep. Chose not to come. And there's no, parent says, I couldn't get them there, but they just chose not to come.
Well, I know, you do what you can do, you know.
That's it.
Thank you very much,
No problem.
both of you.
Any other questions?
Thank y'all.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you guys so much.
And our last presentation is by Miss Amanda Brown from Madison County Central School.
Well, good evening, and my name is Amanda Brown, and I'm the principal at Madison County Central School, pre-K to 8th grade, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you for allowing us to come and talk about our schools with you. The first picture you're going to see in your handout, that is our administrative team. Good evening, and my name is Amanda. Oh. You good? Is that good? Okay. And so this is my administrative team. I have to the far left is Miss Ashley Lundy. She is the assistant principal for pre-K and for all of our student support needs, our ESE students, 504 students. Next to me is Miss Natalie Jackson. She is the assistant principal for our He's the assistant principal for our 3rd through 5th graders, and Mr. Michael Sneed is the assistant principal for our 6th through 8th graders. There is a very long list of our new teammates that we're so excited to have, and you can read down that list and see we have new teachers, new paras, new cafeteria, new deans, guidance counselors, so lots of areas that we have some amazing new teammates that are filling those needs. All right, so what is our focus in 2023-2024? Our first area of focus for our school improvement plan is to raise our student achievement scores, and that first has to begin with our instructional practices and ensuring that they are benchmark aligned. The reason we chose, the rationale that we are using, that we chose that as one of our areas of focus, according to our Progress Monitoring 3 from the end of last school year, the proficiency data for all of our grades 3 through 8 when they took the FAST test in ELA, math, our science test, civics, algebra, all of our subjects were below the state average except for Algebra 1. And we have a very lofty goal, but we really feel like if we don't shoot high, then we're not going to climb high. So we're going to shoot high, and we're going to reach for it and work as hard as we can to get there. Our goal is for the end of this year, our PM3 ELA and math proficiency scores will increase by 25% in grades 3 through 8. And that would get us to above the state average from this year's state average. So some of our action steps, we're providing PD on the best standards for ELA and math. We have an ongoing PD with our state regional literacy director. We have ongoing PD with PACE, as well as our very own district coaches who provide so much knowledge and resources, and they just provide so much support to all of our staff in the district, and we're very fortunate to have them. We have a new math coach this year, and she is coming from Georgia, and she is a great addition to our coaching staff. We're going to do our learning walks to ensure that instructional focus boards and classroom instruction are aligned to the benchmarks, and that's in our Tier 1 instruction, because we know that we cannot, RTI, we can't get our way out of poor Tier 1 instruction, so that is where we have to hit the heaviest. And then our PLCs are going to create charts of the assessed benchmarks. There's 13 assessed benchmarks, and so we are going to focus on each one of those for the teachers to understand exactly what the benchmark looks like and what it looks like to master that benchmark. All right, and some of our data-driven interventions, we are using UFly definitely in our kindergarten and third grade through third grade classrooms. There are classrooms and grade levels in the upper grades who need the phonics instruction. We are doing core phonics surveys in all of our grades, K through 8. That will tell us exactly what phonetically those students are missing. That will help us group them. And also when we finish our FAST testing and STAR testing this week, that will also help us drive those interventions and what groups and what the students need. We're going to use literacy, leveled literacy intervention again. We saw lots of great improvements with that program last year in our elementary students. FCRR, the Florida Center for Research and Reading and Research, they have new, updated activities to align with the best standards, so we're using that. Plus, we have practice guides for ELA and math that's provided by the Department of Education. So what will our intervention blocks look like? We will have our team time in ELA and math, which will continue with our elementary students, kindergarten through 5th grade. We have intensive reading. Those are for our 6th through 8th grade students who scored a level 1 on the fast reading test at the end of last year. Those students are in intensive reading. And our students who scored 2 or above in the reading are in critical thinking. Those groups are data-driven. We will push in the paras for support in those intervention times for small groups. The groups are fluid, so just because you may begin in an intensive reading class, you can work your way out of that. And then every subject has a dedicated team time and intervention time built into the master schedule. So teachers don't have to kind of figure out, when can I do this or how can I fit it in? It's built into their master schedule for them. We'll monitor that by our monthly STAR reading and math progress monitoring and also using the Progress Learning platform. Our next area of focus, and I think you're probably seeing this district-wide because we know it is a district-wide issue, is building a positive culture environment, and student attendance is the main focus for that. Our rationale for choosing that as one of our areas of focus, when we started looking at our early warning system data, it showed us that 49% of our students last year in kindergarten through 8th grade had attendance below 90%. So that meant half of our students missed 18 or more school days. They're not at school, we can't teach them. They're not there all day, they're missing part of instruction, we can't teach them. I pulled attendance for last week. One of the things we're going to start doing is Ms. Willette, our attendance clerk, she got this for me, and we're going to start doing more frequent attendance rewards. So last week, for perfect attendance, 538 out of our 805 students were there every day last week. So 508 students will receive an award this week for perfect attendance. So that's 67% of our students. We still need to, of course, increase that because that still means there was 33% of our students who missed 1 or more days. So we definitely want to work on that. But we're going to start rewarding students in very short time spans. Instead of waiting for an entire 9 weeks, we're going to start rewarding those students. So our goal for attendance at the end of the 2024 school year, MCCS will lower the percentage of students with attendance below 90% from 49% of the students to 25% of the students. Our action steps. So our attendance action team will be created to review attendance weekly. We're already doing that. Our daily personal phone calls home by assigned staff members to absent students. We already have people reaching out every day for the ones who are missing school. Every PLC that we have, we will be talking about attendance, and we do PLCs weekly with our grade levels. And then it's the planned and random rewarding of students and parents for attendance. So they're not going to just always get rewarded every week. We're going to be doing it sporadic, and they won't know when they're going to get rewarded. Keep them on their toes. And then again, we're going to monitor that with weekly attendance reports, and then our PLCs will monitor the grade level attendance. All right, so what MCCS will celebrate is what you're not going to see in the school grade yet. We are going to, We are going to reward and celebrate our gains. So if you look, as we all know, gains will not be counted. The school grade that'll be coming out in October, November will not include gains, okay, because it's a new testing, so they didn't have one to compare it to, so we know that. But that doesn't mean that we, as a school and as a district, should not be celebrating these students' improvements, because they worked hard, and as you can see on this chart, I know it's small, you probably see it better on your handout, there were definite improvements. So what we did was we pulled our end-of-the-year data. We looked at from Progress Monitoring 1 to Progress Monitoring 3. I'm not going to read through each of those numbers for you, but you can see they are in the green. So in kindergarten, ELA and math, improvement. First grade in ELA and math, improvement. Second grade ELA and math, improvements. If you turn the page, third grade ELA and math. So look at all the green, improvements. Fourth grade, fifth grade. If you keep going, you're going to see sixth grade ELA and math, seventh grade, eighth grade ELA and math. And then you see science for fifth grade, science for eighth grade, algebra 1 proficiency, and civics proficiency. Every category that we tested students on, there were improvements that were made. Were they huge? Some areas, but there was improvement. And that is what we are preaching this year. That is what we're promoting, is that it is progress over perfection. If we can get that 1% better every day, these small changes are going to pay off in big ways. And relationships first. And that is for every person, student and staff. We know they have value, but are we letting them know that? Are we letting them know that? I have a great story. I'm going to just be honest. I was a little nervous to be with middle schoolers. I have not been with middle schoolers except my own children before, so I was a little nervous. But I'm telling you, it has been the greatest joy this past week and a half with those students. I had a coach come to me and tell me, Ms. Brown, that boy doesn't trust anyone. And I said, what do you mean? He said, he doesn't trust people. He doesn't trust women especially. A middle school student, wanted to be the water boy for the game last week, and they needed khaki pants. And he called me over at lunchtime, where it's beautiful with no cell phones. Students are talking, they're interacting, they're talking with the adults. It's beautiful. I would love for you all to come out and just witness lunch one day. And he called me over and said, two of them called me over, they said, Ms. Brown, do you have any khaki pants? I said, well, yeah, at my house I have some. They said, no, not for you, for us. And I said, you know what? And this was at probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They said, we need them for the game tonight. I said, okay, I got you. So I went, we looked in our clothes closet, couldn't find a pair for one of the boys. My husband went to the store and bought him some khaki pants. But it wasn't about that, but it was about this student felt comfortable enough to come to me to ask me that. And when that coach said he doesn't trust anyone, I knew I had nailed the relationship part, because I've talked to them every day. Somewhere, sidewalks, cafeteria, classrooms, we're constantly, and my entire administrative team, we're constantly out and about with the kids. So it's the progress, it's not perfection. We're getting 1% better every single day. Sometimes it's in the relationship piece, sometimes it's in the academic piece, some days it's both, but we're getting better every single day. So I'm not going to show this video right now, but I do want you, if you will, please, when you are home, to look at this video. I showed this video at our administrative retreat. I then showed it to my staff. You will have tears every time you watch it. I watch it all the time, and it's actually an ESPN newscast broadcaster, and he went to speak at the University of Alabama. And he talked about find a get-to job. We work at a place that we get to go to every day and touch the lives of our students and our staff and the families. There's districts around that many can go to, higher pay and things like that. but they don't. We're here, we're in the trenches, we're working hard because we get to do this. So it's important that you find a get-to job and not go work somewhere where you got to work. So I encouraged our staff to look at it that way each and every day. We get to walk in these classrooms every day and make a difference with our students. So watch that video when you get a chance to.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Brown. I'm glad to see that you're contacting the parents when the child is absent. I think that's going to be beneficial.
Yeah.
If you can get a hold of them.
Right. That's one of the tricky parts.
That's a tricky part.
But we're, fortunate enough to have, staff members that can go out to the homes and make home visits. And we try any kind of way we had a student this afternoon, we needed to get a hold of a parent for a health issue and couldn't get her, but we had a teacher whose aunt lived across the street from the family, so we could, anyways, we do whatever we can
Yeah.
do to get in touch with someone. It's
Right.
important. The kids matter.
And thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
That video you sent today with Willie Spears, that's really good.
Yes, he's a fantastic
He's really good.
speaker, yes, and I would love to get him to come and speak with our students.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep. You're welcome.
Thank you to all the principals that showed up tonight and assistants. We appreciate that. Number 4, consent agenda items. 4.1 minutes, 4.2 Madison County High School band schedule, 4.3 memorandum of understanding with Career Source, 4.4 fundraisers. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
Madam Chair, I approve to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. Excuse me. We've already done. Okay, number 5, items for individual consideration. 5.1, personnel changes. Mr. Killingsworth?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry I don't have any PowerPoints for y'all, but I'll work on it.
Thank you.
Do that, will you?
This evening, I'm bringing before you 2 non-instructional employees that we are asking your permission for, and then unfortunately we have 3 that right now, 2 for resignation, 1 is needing to take a leave of absence for a little while, which you can see there. And then we have 5 that we're asking for approval for substitute, either sub-teachers, sub-custodian, sub-bus driver, or sub-monitor, those 5. And then if you would look down at the bottom of that second page where it's got tutors, there's 3 names there. I need to pull the bottom one. So Washington and Hernandez would be 2 that I'll be asking your approval. I need to pull the bottom one at this time.
Any questions for Mr. Killingsworth? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the personnel changes minus the Alita Hernandez? No, to Quaya Hampton.
I move to approve the personnel changes minus Ms. Hampton.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Thompson. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.2, additional contract hours at Pinette Elementary School. Mr. Killingsworth?
That one we have requested that we pull from the agenda,
Okay,
so we will need no action on that.
pull that. 5.3, volunteers. Mr. Killingsworth?
Yes, ma'am. Before y'all, there are 11 names that you see that we're asking approval to be volunteers. And beside each one, you will see the actual schools that they will be involved with and what type of role that they're requesting. We ask that those be approved.
Do we have a motion to approve the volunteers?
I move to approve the volunteer list.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? Thank you for putting the names by the schools. That was
Yes, ma'am.
helpful. All in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5 point, thank you, Mr. Killingsworth.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll have a public hearing in regard to the approval of the Code of Student Conduct. Public hearing has begun. All right, we'll end the public hearing right now. Do we have a motion to approve the Code of Student Conduct?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the student conduct.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Becky, 4.
And Madam Chair, I needed to go on record why I am opposing. I am opposing the dress code for the primary school as I discussed when we were having the meetings, the workshops. I oppose that because we're punishing children. And it's kindergarten children, pre-K and kindergarten children through second grade who do not purchase their own clothes. These children do not purchase their clothes, their parents purchase their clothes. They have to wear whatever the parents put them on. And we're giving them days home because they're not wearing the correct clothes. But these small children, small age children, should be punished for what the parent has done. I oppose, I always will oppose.
Thank you, Ms. Hagan. 5.5, parking at Madison County High School football games. Mr. Harris?
Good evening, guys. I'm sorry that I'm showing up like this. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Could have been more professional.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I just came from practice, so excuse me. But we would like to, again, do parking this year. It goes to facilities. This is what helps fund us throughout the year with our facilities, with our fields, and with the facilities at the football field. So we are asking again that we are able to do that fundraiser.
Are there any questions for Mr. Harris? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the parking at Madison County High School football games?
I move to approve the parking.
We have a,
We're not done. Finish your motion. Go ahead.
okay. We have a motion by Mr. Carroll. Second?
I second it.
Second by Ms. Knight. Any discussion or concerns?
You probably need to approve the actual price that will be charged as opposed to just,
Okay. It didn't say on there.
It's been $5, and we're going to continue that $5.
Same, $5.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're not going to go up on that at all.
We'll continue.
This year, that was used to repair the field. We used the sod to repair the field. That was some of the funds. Also, we sprayed the football, baseball, and softball fields for ants and for mole crickets. That's what the majority of that money has been being used for, and it is only going to facilities.
Okay, I think I'll just sort of address the board on this. I'm thinking that it bothers me to have people pay to park. Let's put it that way. I mean, you're going to pay to attend the activities, but this is an additional fee, which I've said it before. We are if we're not the poorest, we're right down there at the bottom someplace, and that bothers me that we're asking people to pay more. Now, I wouldn't be so concerned if we said it was optional. In other words, it's just like when I sponsor something, that's optional. I do it because I want to. In other words, they could come in if they want to pay, or they may make more money that way. That's just an idea. I'm just throwing it out.
And I've always thought that we are a Title I school. When you are a Title I school, all children receive free our reduced lunch. If they're not able to pay for their lunches, and they're going to have to sacrifice to come and pay for a game, and we are poor. Our parents are poor. So that's the difference here. I can remember we were, king is cotton. That's what they said with the Madison County football team. When the Madison County football team were championships, won all the championship games. But we were an F school. So cotton wasn't king to me. But as I said, we are a Title I school where you get free or reduced lunch. And I can't see where these people get the money from. It's a sacrifice. And then their children are already playing, so they gotta pay to come see their child play.
Any other discussions, comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Becky, 3-2. Thank you, Mr. Price.
Thank you all, appreciate you.
All right, we have 5.6, insurance renewal. Mr. Killingsworth?
Good evening once again. You know, I always love this time of year when I get to come and talk with y'all about insurance. The short version of what I'm coming to ask you is previously we had two types that we have been looking at. However, one of them will not be able to come into play right now. The infrastructure and stuff is not set up. So that being said, Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the option that we have at this time. The rates or renewal rates that are being proposed, as you see, it basically is down at 7%, kind of across the board. Okay, that basically is going to adjust to about $157,000 when it's all said and done, difference. Okay. As you can see, it shows you what the current plan is, and then what the renewal rate is, and then there's a piece saying what the difference is individually to pay for that particular plan. You know, we have the HSA plan, and then we have two PPO plans. The HSA plan individual or employee only is the one that the district has paid. Basically, they pay in full. That's one of the things we try to use to help get people with us. As you can see, there's 54 that are on that particular plan. So-
That's for the single,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's the
individual, I
HSA.
mean.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
So there's 68 people altogether on that HSA plan between employee spouse, employee kids and family. And then your PPOs, the 5781, there's 62 on that, the options of plans there, which is basically your more richer plan that we have. And then there's 59 that are on plan 5907. Now, there is a little good news. The dental and vision plan didn't change any. So, I mean, as we say, let's celebrate all the things we can, because sometimes it looks a little cloudy. However, your HIP plan there's 121 on that one. That is the plan that, see how I need to put this, is used that helps offset the other ones for the ones that are on various other plans, because everything's going to come across as a 7%. And with that, That one is basically, was 411, that's 440. So these are the options or renewals that we have currently for this year. One thing that I also need to ask y'all is, the board typically, as I said, pays the individual plan. It was 411, or 413, let me see, where is it? It was 411 really last year, it's 413 this year. However, on the HIP plan, it would be 440. That would be part that would be asked that the district be able to pay up to. And we have done just a dollar amount when we've come to y'all, instead of beating a dead horse, so to speak. If you want, we could say that the board would pay what would be the single coverage
What we've been
plan and the
doing.
HIP. Yes, ma'am. If that is doable, now, we will meet next week with the IBB, because we just haven't had time to meet. And then I know this will be part that we'll have to go over, and we're needing to get it out so that we can have the renewal coming up here soon where they can come and see all the employees. So that's why we're trying to come to you and get your approval. I'm sorry I'm not bearing great news today, but I'll come back with some better news next time.
Okay, so this insurance renewal, does that include the board's contribution for the individual members?
The renewal is the total.
The total package?
Total.
Okay. Okay, any questions from Mr. Killingsworth? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the insurance renewal?
Madam Chair, I recommend we approve the insurance renewal.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Knight, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion?
Did we not hear back from Mr.
He
Gardner?
said it.
Yes.
Is that, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what you were talking about.
Okay, anything else? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0.
And so now
Do
you
you-
need, if
I
you're
was
going
gonna
to
say,
pay
do you-
a
Oh, that-
portion of that,
so-
you need a separate motion on it.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the board's contribution for individual memberships, to pay the individual membership?
Only on the lower plan that the
Right.
district provides.
On the HSA.
The reason why is because you have three different
Okay,
plans
on the
that's
lower
employee
plan,
only.
okay.
As
Yeah.
well as the amount that would be for HIP, because those are two different, but that's two different
The
things.
motion
But
has to be how much are they gonna contribute? They just approved this plan, now how much are they gonna, how much?
What did you say, $430-some?
uh,
I think the motion would be that the board is going to contribute a dollar figure to each one equal to the renewal on the HSA and the renewal on the HIP.
HIP, yes, sir.
Yep.
So that,
Okay. Do we have a motion for the board, to approve the board's contribution?
I move to approve the board's contribution.
Equal.
equal to
E-
the renewal on the HSA and a renewal on the HIP.
Equal to the renewal on the HSA and on the
Individual HSA.
Individual.
Individual, okay.
HSA.
Very good.
And the HIP.
I second.
We have a motion by Ms. Thompson, second by Ms. Knight. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Killingsworth. 5.7, staff travel, Ms. Joseph.
Okay, Madam Chair, I have two staff travels, I'm presenting to you. Two of our school board members will be attending the FSBA Policy and Governance Bargaining Forum on September 28th through 29th. And I have one staff member attending the assessment coordinators meeting,
Yeah, I see that.
August 29th through 31st. And both of these will be funded from the general fund.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Do we have a motion to approve the staff travel?
I move to approve the staff travel.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll. Second.
I second.
Second by Ms. Knight. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.8 field trips, Ms. Joseph.
Madam Chair, I have several field trips presenting to you tonight, and this is standard. Ms. Kaylee Jenkins, she's very good at this. She's the FFA sponsor at the high school, and she presents most of her field trips at the beginning of the year so we can adequately plan for that. And even though your band trips have been approved, Mr. Ortega also listed band trips. So we've got FFA trips and band trips asking for approval.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Do we have a motion to approve the field trips?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the field trips if there are no conflicts. They're so far in advance. And if there are no conflicts with it, I move that we approve them.
We have a motion by Ms. Hagan, second.
I second.
Second by Ms. Thompson. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.9, MOU with North Florida Child Development. Ms. Joseph?
Okay, to the board, one of my directives from our last meeting was to meet with the North Florida Child Development, and we worked the contract plan. We've been working on that, and we've been emailing back and forth today, and we still have some questions. I don't know if they all finished, but we aren't finished with it. And so what I presented to you is draft form because we've got some more negotiations to do on that. Am I correct, ma'am? Okay, but during our discussion, one thing that came up, and I asked you about insurance, because we have been transporting their kids, which is not officially a part of our system, and those kids, we've been having some conversation with our insurance company, and we have been driving their buses, and we are not insured to drive their buses. Their bus, but it's broken down now, so we hadn't been driving their bus. But they're proposing to give another, but that's where we are with that. Okay, what about your kids riding our bus? Okay.
Well, she can present after you finish.
And also, we've made major changes to the contract. I would like Mr. Reeves to evaluate the contract before we present it again, because we've got, but that's where we are right now with that.
The draft right now.
It's draft because we've still
You're
got
still,
some points.
right.
And that insurance part, that's a big part right there because.
Right, I understand that. Okay, Mr. Reeves?
At the last meeting, I think what y'all did was you said that we would continue under the same terms as last year through August 21, which is today. So if we don't have a final contract for y'all to consider, what y'all probably ought to do is go ahead and continue it until the next meeting or whenever y'all
Okay.
want, if you think y'all have it negotiated.
Right now, the word that I'm getting from my insurance company is that we aren't insured to transport their kids. Okay, she says she has a contract, she has a certificate. I haven't seen the certificate. But when you learn better, you do better.
Yes.
We're not insured to haul their kids or
Okay.
drive their bus.
All right.
And right now,
So-
I had not addressed it before, but through the negotiation, that's one of the topics that we brought up the other day about the insurance. And we did some research, and so we're looking into that.
One thing we might could do is when we bring back the contract, we could get a letter from the insurance for our insurer saying, that, and then we could also get their certificate of insurance and see if that's going to provide adequate coverage. That would be a.
Well, right now, are they going to continue driving, picking them up and all that? There's no insurance.
Well, presently, we're not using their bus, right?
We're using our bus, but their kids are not part of our system, and their kids are getting on our bus.
So you mean if there's a problem, those,
Where's their new
they're not
bus?
insured then?
I haven't seen that bus yet.
Well, she's going to present afterward.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So,
maybe
yeah,
I can ask her that question.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
we can, would you like to come up?
That's what I had to say. Did I say the
Well,
name
ma'am,
wrong?
Now,
Okay.
you were talking about the superintendent, so if you have something to say, no problem. I'm just saying you can present and we'll listen to you too now. And we can ask you some questions.
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, we have been working toward this end, and getting, the day we worked really hard and long, and Miss, I appreciate you and your staff. And we did come to some resolutions, but when we combined the information, and they delivered on Thursday, we delivered on Friday, there were still some loose ends. And one of those would be to provide those 2 certificates. We had to have feedback from our insurance people, but we've always had them insured. But in the MOU, in the past, you had them insured too, if I'm not mistaken. But
There was that question about the insurance problem.
we pay our insurance.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just asking what Ms. Joseph's saying. And
Oh.
then there's that problem, not problem. She said your bus is not operable.
It is
So
not.
you all told us you had a new bus.
We do
When
have
will
a
we-
new bus, and we are going to get the bus over here. It's part of the final resolution in this agreement.
And let me just ask you that question. When you give us that bus, bring that bus over, will that bus be titled in the Madison County School Board name?
No, ma'am. It has
okay.
our name on it.
Mhm.
We can't
Okay.
change the name of it, no,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
But yes, that bus is coming over here. But we discussed some things about a second bus.
Well, I'll just wait till the final contract. Those are just
Yes, ma'am.
questions.
Those are
that
the
I thought
things
you
I
wanted
wanna-
to present after the superintendent.
Yes, ma'am. I
and then
wanna make
just
sure-
asking those questions. I'm finished.
Okay. Those things I've got to put in her hands.
We're gonna have to have some serious conversation about that insurance. Will we be listed on your insurance
Oh,
policy?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
When?
We're doing that right now. I have that already added.
Okay.
We have contacted our insurance people, and it is a doer. We can do this. We
Okay.
will do this, and you're going to get the certificate of insurer.
Well, and
And another thing. and you
let
can
me
help
ask
with-
one thing. So when you add somebody officially to your insurance policy, you get a certificate of additional insured, because right now, what it sounds like is you've requested that from your insurance company.
Yes, sir.
But before we get that actual certificate of being an additional insured, we wouldn't be able to go against the insurance company until we get that.
I would
Do
be,
you
it
have
would
an
come
idea?
with the bus. I got to get that.
Well, do you have an idea when we can get the certificate of being
Yes, sir.
additional?
Yes, sir. We asked them on Thursday, and so we should be getting that.
Now, how do we deal with the part about they riding our bus and those kids are not part of our system? Are you following what I'm saying? Your students are not part of our system, and they're not insured to ride our bus. This just come up at the meeting. That's one of the things when we were going through, and we've been having conversation with the insurance company, but we haven't talked about adding your students. If that's an additional fee, or is that supposed to be an in-kind also?
Yes, ma'am. It shouldn't be
Well, until you
additional
all
cost.
figure the final negotiations.
Yeah. When we get ours and you get the certificate that says you are the insured, then there comes the bus. I want to make sure it is covered as you have requested, Ms. Joseph.
I'm a person, I can vouch for a lot of vehicle accidents. And if I had not had insurance, I'd be scarred, okay? I'll just tell you right
Yes,
now.
ma'am.
I'm speaking from personal experience.
I think that
How many are there?
Too many.
I I think the issue, I think what you're driving at is what happens tomorrow.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't-
what I'm wondering about
I mean,
tomorrow.
if we don't have insurance and a wreck happens tomorrow, then who's liable for that?
And
I'm
an
not sure on
accident
your
is an
side.
accident, and they happen, okay? I've had
But
too many wrecks.
she said that there is insurance, they have insurance. But be it known tonight, if your children get on our bus tomorrow, your insurance will take care of them.
Yes,
Ours will
ma'am.
not.
And,
I have
and,
the paper, you gonna give me the paperwork that says that?
yes, ma'am, and y'all have also, y'all, for the last 20-something years have,
We've been wrong,
no, you had insurance. You
And
had
we do
to,
have insurance.
not to cover
But our
high
children,
schools.
I'm beginning to understand what she's saying about that insurance. Your children are not listed as a
Okay.
part. Madison County Central School, Madison County High School, Pinetta Lee and Elementary. Those people are listed on that insurance, but North Florida Development is not listed. So if those children are on the bus and an accident happened, our insurance does not cover them. But you do have insurance
ours does.
that will pick up if it's an accident. Okay.
I don't know.
One thing that, is it
They know,
possible,
I'm sorry.
is it possible to cover their children but with an extra fee, or it's not possible to cover?
We have
With our
been,
insurance.
Ms. Rainick has been communicating with our insurance person, and
We haven't asked that specific question.
we have an ex-
We just determined, they just told us that they were not covered.
But the insurance company told us that the insurance,
They put it in writing to us when things had to happen. They had to see the certificate of insurance and the complete policy with exclusions so that they could determine whether or not we needed more insurance.
So, Mr. Attorney,
I was not aware of that.
there's a couple of different things going on there. Are they saying that these children are not covered, or are they saying we would like to review the certificate and the other policy and all that to determine if that's the best way to do it?
To keep from misspeaking,
Yeah.
can he give you a copy of their response?
That'd be great. That'd be great.
so we're still negotiating.
You have a copy of the
Because the,
response?
We're still negotiating, so we can't vote on something that we're still negotiating. So we need to continue. And what else we got on the agenda?
And I don't know about extending this either.
we do, but the issue is, if you got in a wreck tomorrow, are the children covered? Well, if what they say is true, yes, the children would be covered. But remember now that unless we're listed as an additional insured or have our own insurance, the district isn't covered from the district being sued.
So that's what I just asked her, because, I said all those schools are covered except your school. So it said in this meeting, in the minutes and whatever, that your children are not covered on our bus. She has said that they have insurance, so we take a word for it. So, you know the legalities of it, Mr. Attorney. So, and we can't negotiate that here in this meeting tonight, so they gotta complete their negotiation, so.
What is your
the rest of the board
recommendation?
feels
We're
about it.
still doing our, we're still
Based
trying
upon my
to,
15 minutes of
That's your
being
15.
presented this problem.
Yeah.
Could I ask for the report that you got from your insurance people so I can have them talk, my insurance agent talk
Yeah,
to
that's
theirs?
public record, yeah.
I'd like them to talk insurance and then, and we'll get it aligned.
yes.
Oh, I'm messing.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, that discussion came up when we were negotiating, because I really never thought about it until we got down to there.
I'm not seeing where it says the children are not covered.
It doesn't specifically say
I'm
that.
seeing it say that it would be better to have a certificate of insurance, and they need their own insurance and all that. But I'm not saying it doesn't say that, but I'm saying I don't see that on here. So is that, does it say that somewhere? That I'm
It
not seeing?
doesn't.
That's
I
all,
don't
what
think
you
it
have
says
in
it.
front of me, that's all I
She
see.
says very unusual, so.
And she
If
sent
they
me
could
his,
get out, if they
she
could
sent me
get
this
out
a
of it,
few
they
minutes
will.
ago.
I can tell you
Okay,
that.
and that's one of your homework. I don't know. She sent me that a few minutes ago before the board meeting.
Attorney review it, but it does not say.
They'll look at everything.
I was thinking when we extended it that we would be ready to vote on it today, but it looks like
No.
we're not.
This is why when I emailed Ms. Raynack, when she emailed us last week, I suggested that, if they're having trouble with directive, I mean, even reading over this contract, I mean, just some of the simple things that are wrong in this, that need to be corrected for it to even be at a professional level, we need to workshop this.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, if it's gonna go back and forth and we're not sure what direction everybody's gonna go, then we need to sit down and we need to have some serious discussions about this. Because I can't speak on behalf of the whole board, but I myself am not going to vote on this contract, even if it's brought in front of me with all of the back and forth and all of the ups and downs and allegations that have been put in place for it.
So what are you
So,
suggesting
I don't
that,
feel
they
comfortable.
finish the
I'm not
contract?
comfortable voting on it.
When they finish the contract and we workshop the contract, when they have finished with it. I know that we're not gonna vote on it tonight. It's just,
We definitely need a
we
workshop.
need to extend it.
I have highlights and question marks and underlines all over this contract.
Before I would present a contract to you, because of excessive number of changes, I would have given it to, I will give to Mr. Reeves to review.
Well, we shouldn't have ever brought this up tonight anyway, if it's not.
Okay,
if we're
that
not-
was one of my directives
we
from
had to
last
bring it
meeting
up
to
to
bring it
continue.
back.
It's, yeah, you
We
have
have
to.
In order to
have to
continue,
continue it.
it had to be brought up tonight.
We said we would address it again on the 21st, and that's why we're,
I got you.
So do you want a workshop next Monday night?
I mean, it
That's-
depends
Y'all
upon
gonna have
if
everything
you're gonna
ready
be able
for
to
it?
get your stuff together
She
for us to
said-
be able to discussion.
How long? Give us 2 weeks.
Ms.
No,
Brown,
no, we-
Ms. Brown wants to speak if.
I just, for us to keep going back and forth on this.
I also wanted it to be clear, I would like to know what agreement the board actually has, because what was sent to North Florida Child Development on Thursday evening is not a representation of what came out of our meeting on Tuesday. So I'm assuming there are 2 copies out there, what North Florida presented to the district and what the district presented to us.
So
You're
that's
welcome
why
to have
we're
this. I have
continuing
my own
tonight,
copy.
until we can get together, until you all can get together, both sides can get together. Okay, but you have, but the superintendent, and they're negotiating this for us.
Okay,
So
Correct.
you all can come together, and then we'll look over the whole thing.
Yeah, this is,
And then the board has to
this
decide.
document is not the document that contains the
information.
I'm sorry.
100% in privy to it, because we said something, you said something, we merged it, okay?
Right, so
Okay,
I
did you
see
see
the.
what they sent?
Yes, ma'am, and it's
Okay.
not represented in this document. That's why I wanted to make sure that the board was aware that what
That
you
is
have
not
before
complete,
you
baby.
Well, either
I
way,
need-
we
doesn't
don't
have.
have to continue it.
I just want to make sure that you all have all the information,
So we're gonna
because
have
when
to
we
continue.
left that meeting, when we left that meeting, the agreement was that the district was going to give us the new updated numbers, which is what the board asked, and North Florida was going to fix some of the narrative as far as what we agreed on. So that's what we did. We fixed the written part, and we just waited for the district to send us the updated numbers. What they sent us not only had updated numbers, but some of the language was also different than what was agreed upon. So what you all were presented is what the district did. It does not show North Florida's part of it. So I just wanted to make sure that everything is presented. So a workshop may be the best way to have all the information.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. We're talking about meeting
you.
again, possibly in 2 weeks, which would be September 4th. Okay, but in the meantime,
September 4th is
That's
Labor
what
Day.
it is.
well, then, the 5th. then.
We won't have
September
it then.
5th is a regular meeting.
Well, did you want to meet before then?
Joe?
I mean, in other words, I can't meet next
But
Monday.
see, when you all get that thing together and the attorney reviews it, and it's gonna take him a moment to review it, and then it needs to come back to us, and when it comes, this Vieira saying that behavior. And we need to have time, you know what I'm saying, between North Florida and between the board, so that we will have a good final draft And we don't have to keep going back and forth, and then we'll workshop
Well,
and then decide.
let's wait till Mr. Reeves
That's exactly.
is ready for us to see it and see what, but in the
When you
meantime,
get it, you can let us know.
tomorrow morning, let's say there's an accident, okay, are they insured, those children?
So what it says, what this says, the one place it does mention that, it says autos owned by the Madison County School District and the drivers are Madison County School District would more than likely fall under the FSBIT policy unless the contract states otherwise.
It doesn't state
So
otherwise.
that's not really a, yes, you will be covered, but
No.
that says it's more than likely it would. So I think that's the best you're gonna get right now, and you would need to make your decision based on that.
So that's just tonight to continue it, because they're going to go back in negotiation, and then when they go back in, then the board will give it to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And
So-
it's gonna take them all of next week, and you all of next week to review it.
All right.
Madam
How
Chair,
does the
I would
board
like to
feel
make a
about this?
motion, Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to temporarily continue services based on the previous year's agreement, provided that there is a certificate of insurance handed over to Ms. Joseph.
And when can this certificate be
They should be able to
handed?
have that tomorrow.
Tomorrow
As an
morning,
insurance
she should
agent-
have that.
As an insurance agent, she should have that certificate already.
Okay.
Um,
Actually, it should have been probably brought to us tonight,
Second.
but that's, okay. All right, do we have a,
Include our name on it.
Yes.
On that certificate.
Well, I wasn't
Okay.
done before we, so,
Okay.
anyways, back to the motion. I would
All
like
right.
to temporarily extend services based on last year's contract, temporarily, with a certificate of insurance listing the district as an additional insured, provided to Ms. Joseph tomorrow, until we can negotiate the contract and bring it to the board for a new contract approval.
Final approval.
okay, we have a motion by Ms. Knight, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hagan. Any further discussion?
So one thing, now buses are gonna run at 8 AM tomorrow. I'm sure that certificate's not gonna be here at 8 AM tomorrow. Y'all understand all that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then are you gonna set a date by which this has to be accomplished? So in other words, you're gonna extend it through the second meeting in September or something?
I mean, again, I don't understand why this negotiation is taking so long myself. That's why I feel like we need to have a workshop, because clearly there's a disconnect somewhere. And in order, I mean, I just don't understand why this is,
Okay.
taking so long.
I'd like to have a workshop or a meeting, whatever you want to call it, this week, if possible.
Well, we can't have it this week because they hadn't completed the contract.
Right.
So
Well,
when they complete the
well,
contract,
when-
then that's when we have the workshop.
Okay, when will it be
So the
completed?
contract needs to be amended by the end of September, by the final board meeting in September.
So
Is that a motion?
That's the motion.
part of your motion
Somebody
is,
second it.
part of your motion is that
Correct.
you're going to continue it through
Correct.
the
Wait, now,
final.
you know she can't keep adding after we done took the motion and seconded whatever. You can't keep adding to that motion.
He's wanting it
has to
amended.
be withdrawn and then restated.
All right, let's
Okay, so
withdraw
the
that motion.
amendment, okay.
Well, then
so-
you can withdraw it, and then the person who seconded has to withdraw their second too.
That's right.
okay.
So if you want to
So
withdraw.
I will withdraw to amend.
And I will withdraw my second.
Okay.
Okay, now, I would like to make a motion to temporarily extend services based on last year's contract, terms and conditions, requesting a certificate of insurance listing the district as an additional insured to be provided to Ms. Joseph, effective immediately, and that we will revisit this in our second board meeting in September,
Which is September 18th.
September 18th.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Knight, a second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? I'd like to say I'm still not feeling comfortable about this.
Correct.
About tomorrow morning, I'm talking about, not the end of September.
Tomorrow morning's
Okay, we
okay
need to
because
vote.
that bus that they have out there will not move, okay? We'll be riding our bus tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call for a
Okay,
vote.
well, are they, okay, so our bus, you meaning, everything will be
bus-
okay then?
That's out there does not move.
Okay.
And
It's
so
go
if
up.
she give me a certificate, I don't know when she's gonna get that, how long she's gonna dangle that other bus in front of us.
I can't give you this bus until I can prove to you that it's insured and you're.
Okay.
We need a vote on
This
that
is
motion.
just
Okay.
another part of the
All-
inconsistencies.
All right.
This is
All those in
absurd.
favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0.
I mean, this is a joke.
5.10, John Palmer.
Okay, what that is, that's a contract with the physical therapist to provide services to our students. We have contracted with another person, another agency, but they had too many clients to serve, and this is about 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours per week he will be doing at the prevailing rate that we've been paying others.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Do we have a motion to approve the contract for John Palmer?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the contract with John Palmer
Bless you.
at the rate that we're paying others.
And
have a
what's listed
motion?
in his contract.
That's listed in the contract.
We have a motion by Ms. Hagan, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. All right. High-performing charter contract with James Madison.
Okay, what that is, that's just cleaning up our books. Last year, James Madison were awarded the status of being a high-performing school. What that means, the reimbursement, not the management rate. Okay, we were charging 5%, now we can only charge 2%. And I just need to clean my books up, because I couldn't find where if this had been presented to you and approved. And I think I've left a copy of that letter at each one of your places. It's to Mr. Mark Ackerman from DOE.
So
Let me see it.
so the actual charter contract's not being amended.
It's the con-
We're just recognizing now they're a high-performance
Yes.
charter school, and so our percentage goes down.
Yes,
So we're just okay.
it's not attached to, but it's
Nothing.
this letter right here from DOE.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the high-performing charter contract with James Madison?
I move to approve the high-performing charter contract with James Madison.
We have a motion by Ms. Thompson, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion?
I ain't got that.
I don't have it either.
It
All-
was added as an amendment.
All in favor, raise
That's
your
what we
hand.
do. We just approve
Becky,
stuff to
5-0.
approve it.
Okay. Ms. Joseph?
Okay, a couple of things I need to talk with you about at your place of seat. I did put an attendance and enrollment summary at each of your places of seat about the school, so if you need to know, those are actual kids enrolled, and those are the actual number
have that.
of students that have been,
You all have that?
what's this about the school buses?
That's what this,
You got the ones
I
about the
thought you
school?
said enrollment.
Okay,
Oh, that's different.
Need another one?
Yes, ma'am.
One more, please.
one more, please.
Thank you.
okay, that's what we have enrolled. We've got a few kids that's not been in attendance at least one day. Our truancy person will start going and trying to find out why the child is not there and see whether we need to move. Because you've seen our school focus, they are focusing on attendance.
Ms. Joseph?
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask who's the truancy person?
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez is our truancy person.
Okay. I need to know because when these people start going to these folk house, I get 1,000 phone calls.
Okay.
Who that person?
When he goes
So I'll
out, he
need-
usually takes, if he does a home visit, he usually takes Miss Jennifer Williams with him because we don't like them to go out by themselves. Okay? This other bit of information I've given you is, I just wanted you, we keep talking about buses, everybody, this person needs transportation, this person needs transportation. We would love to transport a lot of people. It's a lot of buses down there. This was a shocker to me because I was asked how many buses we have. They give me name numbers. Okay, I said, give me a page of numbers, okay? I need numbers, nothing but numbers. And what that translated to, Madison County School District owned 38 buses. Of those 38, 22 are on active routes. 2 of them in the repair shop right now, okay? 8 of them is out of service, 6 of them out of service need repairing, and 5 of them non-repairable. Okay, one is a Head Start bus, and we've got 2 spare operational buses, but of the 38 buses, 9 of them doesn't have any air. Y'all know what the temperature has been like
Yes.
recently. So those are the number of buses we have. Okay,
When are
go
we
back
gonna
to,
start purchasing buses, more buses?
we're buying as many as we can, when we can, because last year before last, we experienced, it takes more than 180 days to get a bus.
Yep,
So we're doing what we can as quick as we can.
thank you.
So you notice, how many operational buses do we have on active routes? 22,
Two.
okay? We've got
And 9 without
18
air.
plus 6 routes, okay? That's 24 buses, okay? That's 24 routes. We have 22 buses for 24 routes. How do we cover that? We're using vans. And so this is why transportation is so crucial. Now, on top of that, how many drivers do we have? We have 22 routes. We have 18 drivers. Do your math, people. And we have 3 substitute drivers. This morning, my transportation person and my former transportation had to get up and drive. We're going to get the kids, and so when people say, I need a bus, we are using all our resources possible to get these people to places on time. That's the most important thing else is getting the kids home and to school safely and possibly on time without taking all night. We've got that, and then plus the Head Start bus. But the Head Start bus right now doesn't work. So it's taking one of them out of our fleet. And so that's where we are with buses.
Ms. Joseph, may I ask, I would like to ask this question.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I know that we're doubling up on routes and children are getting to school late. Are these children, breakfast is the most important meal. Are these children being served breakfast?
Okay.
Breakfast being paid for them, is that breakfast being thrown away, or if the children have an excuse to eat this breakfast when they get to school late?
I've got 2 principals here. Can they answer
Well, we
those
shouldn't
questions?
have to ask the principal, we should mandate, because this food is being thrown away.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Oh.
They might be, you asked me where they eating. I don't know. I haven't been there and I have not had that conversation, so I'm going to let them answer it.
Yes, transportation director calls us or notifies us when the bus is coming late. We also notify the cafeteria, and they can get a chance to come in. I can be honest with you, several of them don't want, but we make the opportunity.
Okay, as long as that opportunity's there and the teachers are informed so they don't look at these children when they walk in disrupting class, and these children need breakfast.
Okay, Ms. Brown?
They've done a great job getting our students to school on time. Very rarely is there a late bus in the morning. The double route hits us in the afternoon, but I mean, it's still fine.
Thank you.
Yes, they're on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Joseph?
Okay, but I thought I would give you this, and because we always have a lot of discussion about buses. Can the bus get here early? Can the bus not get here early? You see that the transportation is doing an amazing job with the resources that they have and the personnel they have.
And we never fund all the way with transportation from federal and state.
I will keep you updated. We have 3 buses on order.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't know when they're gonna come in. Any idea?
That's right.
But when they break down and the spare buses that we have, yes, we have 2 spare buses. Those buses don't have any air. But if you have to use them, we'll use them.
I'm surprised these children don't get ill when they are going home. The hotness of the bus and then the motion of the bus, it makes these children really become ill.
But
So based on this
hopefully-
topic, you guys see the necessity for your new bus?
We're actually,
So,
we've been ready to
Okay.
bring the new bus, we just needed agreement, so
yeah,
it's on standby with no addition.
yeah.
Okay, Ms. Joseph, anything else?
Okay, Next week, you should be receiving a weekly report from each principal. We will continue what we were doing last week. This week, I gave them a bye week, but some of them were overachievers and sent one any week. Anyway, but I wanted them to give them time to get settled in because last week was the first week of school. But starting next week, you should be receiving your weekly report. And that's about it.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Ms. Knight?
I just want to thank the principals for, coming and giving us your presentation and your updates and goals for the year. We do appreciate you guys and your staff and all of your employees for all that you guys are doing for our kids. And please let us know how we can serve you.
Ms. Thompson?
Ditto.
Okay. Mr.
Mr.
Carroll?
No, thank the principals. Ms. Hubbard, I'm always glad to see you come. But, Ms. Brown, I appreciate, I know what you were saying about the relationships, and that's a key thing. I know Mr. Brooks believes in that. Me and him talk all the time about that kind of stuff, but that relationship stuff, it can change the dynamics of everything. And so I appreciate y'all working on that and doing that for those kids, because they know. You can't fool them. They know.
Right.
Ms. Hagan?
I just would like to thank everybody who's listening and everybody who's present here tonight. I also would like to thank everybody who, in the beginning of the school year, this one has been smooth. You usually have 100 calls, 1,000, from when school first started. This is one of the years that we haven't had all those calls from the parents about bus pickup, my child got left, or this particular thing, and it has been going kind of smooth. So I want to thank the district personnel, the bus drivers, just everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hagan. I'd like to thank the principals, and I do appreciate that weekly report. I look at it, it keeps me kind of, straight. Let's say I put it in my little 50-cent calendar here. Yes, I gave Ms. Hagan one. We're going to be organized. And, I attended the open houses at all of our schools, and I was very impressed with what I saw. I saw things I had never seen before during my years of teaching, different things they were doing in their classrooms. And just thank you for everything you do each and every day. Do we have a motion to?
No, before you adjourn, a couple of things. First of all, you skipped him.
Oh, I skipped Mr. Reeves.
I do not take it personally.
Don't take it personally.
I don't have any.
Mr. Reeves?
Be glad.
Okay, we got one other thing.
Okay.
I think Ms. Bishop have contacted all of you, I don't know, she tried to contact us. Do we not have an executive session scheduled for tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.?
11 a.m. Yes, 11 to 1.
Okay, this is your reminder.
Thank you, Mrs. Joseph. Do we have a motion to dismiss?
I move to dismiss.
All those in favor? Becky, 5-0.